बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम। अस्सलाम वालेकुम। ये टोफल सीरीज़ है फॉर द बिगनर्स। आज हम इसके जिस लेसन में स्टडी करेंगे वो है, जो टॉपिक स्टडी करेंगे वो है कन्फ्यूजिंगली रिलेटेड वर्ड्स। इससे पहले हमने कॉमनली मिसयूज्ड वर्ड्स स्टडी किए थे, अब हम पढ़ेंगे कन्फ्यूजिंग वर्ड्स। सो लेट्स स्टार्ट द लेसन। Okay, starting off with an accept with a, which is a verb which means to take what is given without any hesitations, and the other one with the same pronunciation is an accept with except with the same pronunciation, but that is a preposition which means excluding or omitting a thing or a person. So accept with a is actually a verb, and accept with e is a preposition which means excluding or omitting a thing or person. Then comes the two words, which is access, noun, which means availability, way of gaining entrance, and the other one is access. So it's just a slight difference in the pronunciation. Access is a noun which means availability, a way of gaining entrance, and the other one is excess. It's an adjective which means abundant, something superfluous or extra amount. It's a noun. Then comes two words, advice with c, which is a noun, which means an opinion given to someone. It's a counseling. But an advice, it's advise which means a verb, it's with s. It's an act of giving an opinion or counsel. So advice with c is a noun, advise with s is a verb. It's an act of giving and one is the counsel. Then comes the two words, which is affect with an a, is a verb which means to produce a change. And effect is a noun which is an end result or the consequence. It is to produce as a result. It is something produced as a result. So a with effect is a verb, e with effect is a noun. It's an end result rather. Then comes the two words, one is again, which is an adverb. It means repetition of an action one more time. Other one is against. It's a preposition. It means in opposition of someone or something. It means next to or adjacent. Then comes two more words. One is already with single L without any space. It's an adverb. It means an action that happened at an indefinite time before the present time. The other one is already. It's with double L with a space between all and the ready. It's actually the noun with adjective. It means prepared to do something. Prepared to do something. Then it comes to two more words. One is among, which is preposition, and the between, which is also preposition. So among is shown as the result of relationship or a selection involving three or more entities. However, between being preposition, it shows a relationship or selection involving only two entities. So when it comes to something being compared between two, then it comes the word preposition is two. If it's a comparison for many people more than three, then the preposition should be among in the sentence rather. Then comes three words, which is beside, which is a preposition which means next to. Then come besides with an extra s in the end. It's a preposition or an adverb. In addition to, it means also and moreover. And aside is also an adverb. It means to one side. Beside, besides, and aside. The two words more are compare, which is a verb which means show similarities, and the other one is contrast. It's a verb also. It means show differences. For showing similarities, compare, and contrast means showing differences. Then the two words are consecutive, adjective. It indicates an uninterrupted sequence. And successive is also an adjective, and it is indicative or indicates a series of separate events. One is series of uninterrupted sequences, and successive is a series of separate events. There is no consecutive. It's with interruptions instead. So succession means something of a series of events with the separate events. Then the two words are considerable, which means an adjective, rather large amount or degree. Considerate is an adjective. It means thoughtful or polite. So the three more words are credible, which is adjective, which means believable. Creditable, which is adjective also. It means worthy of praise. And the last one is credulous, which is also adjective, which means something gullible. So credible, creditable, and credulous. Then two more words. One is detract, which is a verb, which means take away or lessen the value of a person or thing. take away or lessen the value of a person or a thing. Then distract means, which is also a verb, it means cause a lack of mental concentration on what one is doing or the goals one has set. So one is detract and one is distract. Then two more words are devise and devise. Devise with C is a noun, which means an invention or plan, and devise with S is a verb, which means to invent, create or contrive. So devise, noun, devise, verb. Two more words are illicit, which is verb, which means draw out or evoke. Draw out or evoke. And the other one is illicit, which is adjective, it means unlawful. Unlawful. So be very careful about when you're writing illicit or illicit. Two more words are immigrant and immigrant. An immigrant with an E is a noun, which means one who leaves one's own country. And the immigrant with double M and starting with an I is also a noun, which means one who comes to a new country to settle. So the one who is leaving his own country is an immigrant, and the immigrant with double M and I is the one who comes to a new country to settle. I hope this being sound though very tongue twister, but makes sense. The two more examples are, one is example, means noun, it means anything used to prove a point, and the other one is sample, which is also noun, which means a representative part of a whole. So one is example, anything that used to prove a point, and sample is from the is a representative from the rest, from the part of, as a part of a whole. Two more words are formerly with E. It means adverb. It means it's an adverb. It means previously. And the formally with the double L, formally is also adverb. It means an elegant way of dressing, properly or officially. Two more words are hard. One is, it means adjective. It's an adjective. It means difficult, opposite of soft, with great effort. And other one is hardly, which is an adverb. It means barely, scarcely, rarely, right? So these two words are hard to remember at times. The two other words are helpless and useless. Helpless is an adjective, which means unable to remedy. And the other one is useless, which is also an adjective, it means worthless. Means worthless. Then comes house and home. House is a noun, which means a building or a structure. And home, which is also a noun, is an atmosphere or a feeling of domestic tranquility found in a house. So one is house and one is home. Then comes imaginary or imaginative. Imaginary is an adjective. It means something not real that exists in one's imagination. And imaginative is also an adjective. It means showing signs of great imagination. Showing signs of great imagination. Then comes immortal, which is adjective. It means incapable of dying. And immoral, also adjective. It means against the moral law, bad or evil. One is immortal and the other one is immoral. Then comes implicit, which is adjective. It means understood but not specially stated. And explicit, also adjective. It means expressed in a clear and precise manner. Two more words are industrial, which is adjective. It means pertaining to industry, pertaining to industry. And industrious, which is also adjective, it means diligent, hardworking. Industrious means diligent, hardworking. Inflict means verb. Inflict is a verb. It means impose something unwelcome. Impose something unwelcome. And afflict, which is also a verb, it means cause physical or mental pain. Cause physical or mental pain. Inspiration is a noun. Stimulation to learn or discover. Stimulation to learn or discover. And aspiration is also a noun. It means ambition, desire, goal, expulsion of breath. Expulsion of breath. The three more words are intelligent, which is an adjective. It means possessing a great deal of mental ability. Intelligible is adjective. It means clearly, easily understood. And intellectual, which is also noun, which is a noun rather, it means any person who possesses a great deal of knowledge or wise. So intelligent, intelligible and intellectual. Then comes two more words, which is intense, adjective. it means extreme, and intensive, which is also adjective, it means concentrated. Intense, extreme, intensive, concentrated. Late is adjective or adverb. It means not punctual, no longer living. So it has two meanings. It means not punctual or no longer living. And lately is an adverb. It means recently, just recently. Then comes learn, which is a verb. It means obtain knowledge. And teach is also a verb, which means impart knowledge. Learn is obtaining knowledge and teach is imparting knowledge. So you can't mix the two together. Then comes lent, which is a verb. It means give something for temporary use with the promise of returning it. And lent and loan is a verb, is also borrow is a verb, and these two meanings: receive something for temporary use. Receive something for the temporary use. Now comes liquefy and liquidate. Liquefy is a verb which means change to a watery or liquid state. And liquidate again is a verb which means eliminate, get rid of, and change to cash. The three meanings for the liquidate are eliminate, get rid of, and change to cash. Then comes lonely and alone. Lonely is an adjective. It means depressed feeling as a result of abandonment or being alone. And alone is an adjective also, and it means physical state of solitude, unaccompanied. Unaccompanied. So one is lonely and the other is alone. Then comes the two more words, near, which is preposition or adverb. It means used to indicate a place not too far distant. Then comes nearly, which is adverb. It means almost. It means almost. Two more words are observation, which is a noun, which means act of paying attention to or being paid attention. And the other one is observance, which is a noun, and it means act of following custom or ceremony. Act of following custom or ceremony. Then comes persecute and prosecute. Persecute is a verb which means to torture or to harass. And the prosecute, with a slight difference in the pronunciation and the spelling, the prosecute is also a verb. It means, in the legal terms, to bring suit against or enforce a law through a legal process. So one is persecute and the other is prosecute. Then comes precede and proceed. Precede is a verb which means to come before. To come before. And proceed is also a verb which means to continue an action after a rest of the period or interruption. Then comes the two more words, quantity and number. Quantity is a noun which means it is used with non-count nouns to indicate amount or the bulk. And the number is also a noun which is used with the count nouns to designate individual amount. So one is with the count noun and the other one is non-count noun. Then comes remember and remind. Remember is a verb which means to recall or think of again. Recall or think of again. And remind is also a verb which means to cause to remember, to bring into someone's mind. To cause to remember or to bring into someone's mind. Then comes the two more words, sensible and sensitive. Sensible is adjective. It means having good judgment. And sensitive is again adjective. It means excitable, touchy, easily affected by outside influences. Then comes the special with S. Is an adjective, that which receives a lot of attention because of a distinct characteristic. Someone which receives a lot of attention because of a distinct characteristic. And the special with starting off with E, especially, is an adverb. It means particularly. It means particularly. And the last two words are use, which is noun. It means act of putting into practice or service or application. And the usage, which is also a noun, means way in which something is being used. Way in which something is used. So this was all about the confusingly related words. अब हम इसकी exercise को solve करेंगे. This exercise comprise of 25 questions. इसमें हम इन्हीं जिन confusing words को हमने study किया है उन्हीं को use करके इस तमाम को further reinforce करेंगे in our heads. So on your screen you have 10 questions with the two options in the parentheses separated by an oblique. So you have to select the right word from considering the rest of the sentence context into consideration. So there are 10 questions on your screen. Pause your video and find the right answers. Then I will switch to the rest of the questions. Here are a few more questions. You have to select the right answer from the parentheses, from the just taught you confusing words. And then there are the last five more questions. Select the right answer from the parentheses. So for those who are done with the questions by now, we can start answers. Starting off with the first one, Betty's insulting remark greatly affected Kurt, who is a very sensitive person. So here we have an affected, not affected. Question 2, Detroit manufacturers hope to develop an easily attachable device with C for the carburetor to improve gas mileage. Question 3, while doing the experiment, we asked the lab technician advice. Question 4, after declaring bankruptcy, the company was forced to liquidate its assets. Question 5, Keith's company's headquarters were formerly located in Philadelphia. It's again formerly, it is not formally. Then comes question 6. Special attention must be given to the questions at the end of each chapter. Question 7. George was among those students selected to participate in debate. Since we are not sure of how many, there must be more than 2. So there we are selecting among. Question 8. They were all ready to leave when a telegram arrived. Question 9. By asking many questions, the instructor tried to elicit information from these students. Question 10. You should not say things that might make a highly sensitive person upset. Of course, the sensitive person is more likely to upset. Then comes question 11. United States is a melting point, a land of immigrants. Question 12. A large number of whales beached and died last year because of ear problems. Question 13. When Louise set the table, she placed the silverware beside the plate. Now comes question 14. Mark is sensible enough to swim close to shore. Question 15. In 1969, the astronauts who landed on the moon collected samples of rocks and soil. Question 16. Maria has been working very hard on her thesis. Question 17. The government will prosecute the guilty parties for polluting the waters. Question 18. Every time Marilla travels with her children, she carries excess baggage. Question 19. Dent's immortal literary masterpieces are read in universities across the country. Question 20. An explanation will precede each section of the test. Question 21. Eric's courageous rescue of drowning child was a creditable deed. Question 22. Patty's spare flashlights was useless the night of the storm because the batteries were corroded. Question 23. The gaudy decorations in the hall detracted from the beauty of the celebration. Question 24. Everything except our swimwear is packed and ready to go. Question 25. The last question. Your essay is very imaginative and worthy of an A grade, said Mrs. Jameson to her student. I hope this all makes sense. If you like this video, subscribe to my channel, like my videos and share with your friends and family. Thanks for watching.